We've got a dogfight in the American League East. And after winning the first three games of a four-game series, the Toronto Blue Jays have caught the Yankees. The Yankees have been in first place since the middle of April, and with the seven-game lead, everyone assumed in New York the Yankees and Mets were off to the races. Meanwhile, both of them are now stuck at go. What's gone on with the Yankees? What has caused the Toronto Blue Jays to all of a sudden even have an opening to have caught the Yankees? What is happening where the American League East is now the most competitive division in all of baseball? Three teams within half a game. There's no other division that is even close to that. As a matter of fact, the other closest division is the NL Central, and there you've got the Cubs, Brewers, and Cardinals. Those top three teams are within 5 games, but 3 within half a game as we head to the July 4th holiday weekend, as we head 28 days from today to the trade deadline. And you can feel the heat in New York, and I'm not talking just temperature. I'm talking the pressure that is currently on Brian Cashman and Aaron Boone. I'm talking about the fact that I may be 1, 2, 3, maybe 4, 5 years late in my prediction and wait to seize that something has to happen in New York or there's going to be a change at general manager or at manager. The thing with the Yankees is that they are going with a squad right now that is not their best opportunity to win. It doesn't give them their best chance to win. And when you're playing well and you've got Fried pitching like an ace, then you can cover up a lot of the problems. But remember we talked about Devers and the fact that Devers didn't want to move positions, and so Boston traded him to the Giants, and now both those teams are struggling? Well, in New York, there's a player. His name is Jazz Chisholm, the player they got from the Miami Marlins. He has been an absolute state trooper. He has been more than willing to do anything the Yankees ask. You want to play some outfield? You want to play some second? We're going to play it second. That's what he was told. And then all of a sudden they have to play him at third because DJ LeMahieu can't play third. He'd rather play second. So the Yankees, in order to assuage DJ LeMahieu's bad arm and his bad hurt feelings, are playing Jazz in a position that he shouldn't be in, even though when he played third last year, he was fine. Not gold glove material, but good enough. And his offense is good enough to be a good third or fourth option on a good team. But when you're sacrificing defense the way the Yankees do, you'd think that they'd have a memory of last year's playoffs. You'd think that it would occur to them that pitching and defense are actually what's going to get them their first ring since 2009. But instead, you've got a team that is just floundering. But in order for that to matter, there needs to be a hot team below you. And that's what the Blue Jays have become. Our esteemed producer, Matthew Coca, had Vladimir Guerrero as his MVP pick before the season started and acknowledged sometime during April, as Coca would say, he's cooked, I'm cooked. Well, guess what? While we were sleeping, Vladimir Guerrero and the Toronto Blue Jays have figured it out because they are rewarding their front office who kept the band back together and decided we're going to sign Guerrero. We are going to, for the most part, run it back, and we're going to see if we can actually win games, get into October. And it did not start very promising at all. As a matter of fact, when we were doing shows, which we do with Jeff Blair and Kevin Barker, we were basically putting an end to this season for all intents and purposes. But the best thing about baseball is not only the length of the season, but also when you have a chance to play the team you're catching, you get to win twice for every one game you win. You may think I'm crazy. Maybe I'm tired. Maybe I've got highway patrolmen in my mind. But in fact, when the Blue Jays are playing the Yankees, they can catch them down 3, 4-game series. You can end that series up 1. You don't need to worry about the team you're catching winning or losing. If you're playing them, you control it. So what did the Blue Jays do? They came in, and since June 3rd, they and the Rays are leading there with a record of 17-9 for the Blue Jays, 17-10 for the Rays. You combine that with the Yankees going not a terrible 11-16, not horrific by any stretch. You don't want any months below 500, but generally you will. But the way it's happening is the problem. So, what do you do if you're the Yankees? How do you fix this? Do you do a players only meeting? The Mets tried that. How'd that go? Do you have Brian Cashman go down and address the troops? Do you have Aaron Boone get ejected from more games? I have a suggestion. One of the hardest things to do is to move away from a player who you love, a player who you think is a clubhouse leader, a player who you have a memory of as a championship part of a team, as a player who you depended on. But when you look at the field, when you look at the results, you realize that you're carrying that player for the wrong reason. And yes, I've carried players for the wrong reason, and I understand the mentality because it's the tomorrow mentality. The tomorrow mentality is fascinating. It's no matter what you see today, you say to yourself, tomorrow will be different. Tomorrow will be the day our team comes together. Tomorrow will be the day that our losing streak ends. Tomorrow will be the day that we'll use, since X day, the team has the second best record in baseball and the best record in their division. Because those stats that we give you, best record since June 1st, worst record since May 17th, it's all based on a date that you choose to make your point. It's almost like an economic feasibility study for a stadium. You choose to have someone hired who's going to say exactly what you want him to say. Stats are the same. You say they don't lie, but in fact, they can lie because you can manipulate them. So the Yankees are looking at DJ LeMahieu and saying, we've got tomorrow. Why don't we wait? Well, I'm telling you why. Because if you designate DJ LeMahieu right now, you're doing two things. One, you're opening up an active roster spot for anyone who can fog up a mirror, who's going to be more effective and impactful on the field than DJ. Two, you're showing your team, because even though he's popular, you're showing your team this is not about who's cool in the cafeteria during lunch. This isn't about who's interesting in the community or who is a great ambassador to our team. Forget all that. This is about one thing only. It's about winning games. And eventually, when you've got a player with 1 year left, which is what LeMahieu has after this year, 1 year at $15 million. We've seen teams eat a lot more than that. We're going to talk about a team that's eaten a lot more than that in another league, but we see it all over. Dead cap money in the NFL, released players in waived players in the NBA, released or designated players in MLB. You sometimes just have to eat it.